And the Oscar goes to Will Smith in G.I. Jane 2. G'day guys, it's Holy Critics signing in and welcome back to the channel once again. And as you can see, today I've decided to dress up in my Sunday best because, well, I love controversy. It's my bread and butter, and there isn't a bigger controversy right now than Will Smith, who, well, I can only say completely lost his mind when a mild joke was directed towards his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, before I get into the juicy details, let's get a little background. The Oscars. Who even watches the Oscars anymore? Do you know who won Best Picture? I mean, if you look at the Oscar viewership, this chart tells you the trend line. In the past decade, it has been steadily declining, and 2021 was an all-time low. So think from the perspective of the producers of the show. They're trying to spruik it up, how are we going to get some people in? You look at the Golden Globes and they had Ricky Gervais, a far more vicious comedian than Chris Rock. But, the Oscars are a respectable event. We dress up and we go through the pomp and stance of it all. But, that's not going to arrest the momentum. So how are they going to drum up controversy? And this is where I'm a little bit torn. Will Smith had an obscene reaction, going so far as to assault a man on live television with tens of millions of people around the world presumably watching it. Why would he do such a thing? Why would he jeopardize his career? Why would he even put himself at the risk of being charged with assault? Unless it was scripted, which I'm starting to believe now. After I've seen the footage, I'm sure you've seen it. By all means, go watch it. It's pretty farcical. But what caused Will Smith to explode? 1 second, he's laughing. Chris Rock is playing the room. Typical stand-up routine. Bit of improv in there. And he makes a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith because she has a shaved head. He says, G.I. Jane 2, when's it coming out, basically? And initially, Will Smith is laughing along with it. His wife, stony-faced. And in a split second, 0 to 100 in a split second, Will Smith just goes straight up on the stage, no inhibitions, cocks his hand right back, and whack. That was real. That wasn't performative. That was method acting, if I can put it that way. If there's any performance, it's method. Because Chris Rock got his lights whacked out, and that reaction that he had was legitimate. But you don't think that wasn't choreographed between the two of them before the event? You don't think Chris Rock pulled Will Smith aside and said, I'm going to make this joke and I want you to react in this way? Because it's a desperate move. They wouldn't have done this 10 years ago, but the ratings are in the bin. In unbelievable scenes, actor Will Smith stormed the Oscars stage and slapped presenter Chris Rock across the face after the comedian mocked his wife's hair. Pretty innocuous. I've seen worse jokes. I mean, Ricky Gervais, like I already said, he tore a new hole for some of these celebrities. After Rock equipped that he couldn't wait to see the sequel of G.I. Jane, appearing to mock Pinkett Smith's shaved head, the camera panned to the Red Table Talk host, rolling her eyes and glancing sideways at Smith. Suddenly, Smith jumped to his feet, marched up to Rock and slapped him before returning to his seat and yelling, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth." I mean, that alone would get you kicked from ever appearing on the Oscars as swearing on live television. Repeatedly as the crowd sat stunned and Rock was left speechless. Rock then uttered the altercation, "The greatest night in the history of television." Doesn't that indicate something, guys? He had the presence of mind to say that statement. Greatest night in the history. Afterwards, Smith's publicist was seen whispering in his ear, rightfully expecting an enormous reaction to the moment. Fellow actors Tyler Perry and Denzel Washington were also seen comforting him. Comforting him, a man-child, whose skin is so thin that he can't handle a joke. I mean, this is why comedy's dying. I mean, you hear Joe Rogan speaking of this, how thin-skinned these people are, how they take everything so literally. Everything is so offensive to them. They're so reverent in the way they talk, you know. Sean Penn, he said he's going to melt his Oscars if Zelensky doesn't have a speech during a awards ceremony for the best acting performances. Political much? Maybe they want to stay out of that arena? In a further twist to the saga, Smith was then named Best Actor. That's strange, isn't it? He has a temper tantrum and then immediately wins the award. Wasn't choreographed? All right. While accepting his first ever Oscar for his role in King Richard, in which he played the father of Venus and Serena Williams, he apologized to the Academy with tears streaming down his face. But we all know that a good actor can turn on the waterworks, when the scene requires it, on cue. Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family, he began in his speech. Art imitates life. Yeah, talk about doubling down. How about just apologizing? I look like the crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams. Yeah, perfect cover. He went full method this time. He later joked, adding that love makes you do crazy things. Like act in a violent manner. That's love, is it? He concluded, I hope the Academy invites me back. Well, of course they will. Because everyone's going to watch next year's ceremony. I presume he's going to be a host. All right. I can already hear what some of you are saying. This couldn't possibly be fake. I saw with my own two eyes what happened. Okay. So then explain to me why Chris Rock has not pressed any charges. He was just assaulted by someone who was acting completely out of any reason. And Chris Rock, he's been around the block. He's been heckled plenty of times, I'm assuming. Can't say he's ever been assaulted on stage, but I imagine if he was, and it was Joe Bloggs down the road, I imagine that he would have filed charges, But if it happens on the biggest stage of all, hey, it's all right. We all act a little bit irrational sometimes. You got to cut Will Smith a bit of slack. Well, that's basically what the LAPD is saying. LAPD investigative entities are aware of an incident between two individuals during the Academy Awards program. An LAPD statement reads, the incident involved one individual slapping another. The individual involved has declined to file a police report. If the involved party desires to file a police report at a later date, LAPD will be available to complete an investigative report. There it is in a nutshell, guys. And guess what? Next year, Will Smith's going to walk out on stage, and guess who's going to be standing next to him? Need I say any more? It's the perfect sequel. You couldn't get a better ratings grabber than what you have just seen. It's a desperate move from a failing institution. But that's just my opinion. Please, by all means, drop a comment below and tell me whether you think this is real or as fake as a $3 bill. And this is Holy Critic signing out.